Shalom, friends. When I conceived of this particular drosh that I have in mind, I thought this was going to be a far more kid-heavy gathering, which it's not, but you'll be just fine. We'll talk in kids' terms anyway, just for a moment.
Kids at heart.
Kids at heart, kids in, I don't know, that spiritual existential sense, kids in behavior. As I always think about my 103-year-old grandfather who still liked to hide peanut M&Ms, that he wasn't allowed. So sometimes these behaviors die hard. So I'm thinking about a book that my dad and stepmom recently got Reuben, the 3-year-old. It's a book in the Bluey franchise. See a number of you nodding with awareness and knowledge of the Bluey franchise. For those of you who don't know or haven't had toddlers in your periphery in the recent time, Bluey is this Australian TV show with this family of dogs, and they are, doing family stuff and parents and 2 kids and whatever else, and it's just adorable and delightful and beautiful and sweet. And just the most wholesome of television you could hope for in this day and age. Every once in a while, if I have a bad enough day, I will even go home and watch Bluey. But I was thinking about this one page in this book. The book is called Our Mum is the Greatest, M-U-M, which I'm going to pronounce as Mom because I'm American. But it has this one page that says, Mom always helps us. And it says, Mom always helps us with her checklist, okay, when we're hurt, or we're sad, or we cry. August, you know the checklist?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. Some of the others of you may know the checklist as well. I was going to say, a resident librarian. Do you have it memorized? Do you want to...
It's what? Cry.
Have yourself a nice cry.
Dust yourself off.
Dust yourself off.
Pick yourself up.
And pick yourself up. Thank you. Look at that. Librarians among us. Experts in all things Bluey. Thank you. So, have yourself a good cry. Dust yourself off and pick yourself up. I am thinking about that very deeply against the backdrop of, weirdly enough, the time in which we may all find occasion to have a good cry, to dust ourselves off and pick ourselves up, coming this week, Wednesday into Thursday, of Tisha B'Av. That time of profound and collective desolation and destruction. It's the time when we famously remember the destruction of the temple, but we've also had this Jewish habit of shoehorning in all of these other disasters that have happened to Am Yisrael throughout the ages on that time. I forget what the one that has to do with the Crusades was, but there's one that has to do with the Wannsee Conference with Nazi Germany and so forth. It's this day that we load all of our sadness and all of our brokenness and desolation onto this one day. And there's fasting, and there's sitting on the floor in low lights, and there's examining the nature of being disrupted in this sense. But as a little bit of a sneak preview, not to the Tu B'Shvat, but of where it is that we as a Jewish people have gone. What was the response to Tisha B'Av? What was the response to Tisha B'Av? The response in some ways was actually threefold. The response was to remake Judaism, very much. This is a gross oversimplification. You'll have a little patience with me too. But we did actually remake Judaism in 3 pieces. The first one, when the temples were destroyed, we didn't have a place to go anymore that was our holy space. We had to replace the temple. What did we replace it with? You're actually jumping ahead of me here. We're going to come to that, though. No, you're absolutely right. The place we replaced was synagogue. So some of you saying here, that's right. This idea that we didn't have to go on this massive pilgrimage to this one point in Jerusalem, but you could actually relate to God in Wilmington, Delaware. What an innovation. Now, this is the one that, I'll go ahead and share your punchline with this one. Thank you, Liz Plaza. I do appreciate it. What did we replace sacrifice with? Because if you think back to that time, that was the way that we had a relationship with God, was by offering grains or animals or, your crops, whatever it was. And that was the one that we replaced with prayer. That's right. This idea that we can say words. We can have ideas. We can sing together. And that becomes something that is accepted and embraced by God. That was an innovation too. And there was one other piece that we had to do a little bit of reimagining around. And that was who was in charge of Judaism back in the day? The Kohen HaGadol, whoever said the high priest, nice job. The Kohanim writ large, the priests in general. And funny, but outside of the Catholic Church up the street, I haven't seen a whole lot of priests in Judaism. What do we have now? Rabbis! Thank you, Lori Barbanel. We have rabbis. We actually needed to revisit in all of this destruction and everything that got leveled, the people who were going to carry the Jewish people forward were not the same ones who had been responsible for leading them in and around the temple and leading them in the sacrifices and all that stuff that they brought. It actually took a different group of people to reimagine what Judaism might be. It took them a good 500 years-ish to do that in and around this enterprise that we will call the Talmud, but that's for another time. So I was thinking a lot about Bluey's famous 3-step plan for dealing with tragedy against the backdrop of our rabbinic, praying, synagogue-going, innovating ancestors. It's good to distill things down by threes in that way, but this idea of being able to find a checklist and dust yourself off and pick yourself back up, while also, yes, having a good cry in the middle of it, it's really important. Picking yourself up after being broken and desolated and whatever else befell us throughout the ages, it's not necessarily an easy or an intuitive thing, but it's a very Jewish thing. Thought about distilling it down in that way because in some level the rabbis gave us a manual, they gave us a checklist, they gave us these things to sort of pore over and figure out how it is that we navigate and mediate and negotiate our sense of loss. We're going to do it together, and we'll do it together Wednesday into Thursday. Tonight's Shabbat Chazon, this Shabbat that takes us into Tisha B'Av. But in preparation for it, I also wanted to frame it perhaps that, if you are in need of a good cry, dusting yourself off, picking yourself up again, that we're here to do that together in and around sacred community. Shabbat Shalom.